Ouroboros. It is known as the infinity symbol. The Ouroboros is one of the most significant and unique Egyptian symbols in ancient Egypt. The Egyptian name for it was Sedem-Ra, which means tail in the mouth. It depicts a serpent with its tail in its mouth, continually devouring itself, and reborn from itself. This is the symbol of rebirth and immortality used in Egypt, since 1600 BC. It was first discovered in King Tutankhamun's tomb. This symbol entered the Western world via some magical papyrus. The name, Ouroboros, is a Greek name that means devouring tail, and symbolizes eternity, the beginning and the end. This symbol has appeared in Gnosticism and Hermeticism, and most notably in alchemy, in the shape of an emblematic serpent or a dragon, that expresses the unity of all things, both material and spiritual, which changes form in an eternal cycle of total destruction and recreation. Nowadays, Ouroboros is one of the Egyptian symbols used as a tattoo. Wedjat. The Eye of Horus. The Eye of Horus is the symbol of power, protection and good health. According to Isis and Osiris' famous myth, when Horus reached adulthood, he thought to avenge his father's death. He fought his uncle Set, and during the battle, Horus lost his left eye, that broke into 6 pieces. Thoth, the god of wisdom, magically restored Horus's eye, and then it became known as Wedjat, which means whole, or healthy. Ancient Egyptians started to believe it has healing power. Due to its protective and healing power, Horus' eye was used as an amulet for the living and the dead. Some Egyptologists think that the Eye of Horus was used by ancient Egyptians as a mathematical symbol. Every part of the 6 represents a measurement unit, and is associated with one of the human senses. The right side representing smell, equals half. The pupil representing sight, equals 1/4. The eyebrow representing thought, equals 1/8. The left side representing hearing, equals 1/16. The curved tail that looks like a tongue representing taste, equals 1/32. And the teardrop representing touch, equals 1/64. Surprisingly, if we superimposed these parts over the mid-sagittal image of the human brain, each component corresponds to portions of human neuroanatomical features of the brain. Although the ancient Egyptian civilization came to an end, the belief of the Eye of Horus energy continued, and still used. Season. Lotus flower. The lotus flower is an ancient Egyptian symbol, called season, in the Egyptian language. It is considered a holy flower as it grows all over Egypt. It was drawn on the pillars of the biggest temples, and was found a lot among hieroglyphic writing in tombs, on papyrus, thrones, and the headdress of divine pharaohs. It was also mentioned in the Book of the Dead, in which there is a magic charm that can transform the dead into lotus flowers, thus allowing their resurrection. As the lotus flower retracts into the water at night, and then emerges the next day, it is associated with the sun, which disappears in the night and re-emerges in the morning. That's why it was a symbol of rebirth and regeneration. The Egyptians believed that lotus had curative properties. So, they used this flower in making ointments, remedies, healing infections, perfumes, and even as an aphrodisiac. It is also an Egyptian symbol for love, as the lovers gave it to each other as a token for their love. It wasn't only famous in ancient Egypt, it is also popular in Buddhism and Hinduism. The lotus symbol was associated in most of world cultures, with purity and cleanliness. Amenta. Amenta is the symbol of the land of the dead and the underworld, called in ancient Egyptian language Diwat. Originally, the Amenta represented the horizon, and the place where the sun sets. Later, the Amenta evolved, and symbolized the Nile's west bank, that was used as a burial place. The west bank for ancient Egyptians was the land of the dead, as the sun disappeared on this side. It's where the journey of the afterlife begins. Feather of Ma'at. Ma'at's feather is one of the most common Egyptian symbols used in hieroglyphics. The goddess Ma'at represented justice in Egyptian culture. Ma'at also symbolized moral values. Ma'at feather can be seen in the context of ensuring justice in ancient inscriptions. This is because the ancient Egyptians believed that one's heart would be weighed against the Ma'at feather in the Hall of Two Truths. If his heart was found equal, or lighter than the feather, it would mean that he was a virtuous person, and he would go to Aru, or Seketaru, field of reeds. It is the heavenly paradise where Osiris rules. If not, then his heart would be eaten by Ammit, the goddess who ate the soul, and he would be cursed, to remain in the underworld forever. Pharaohs were depicted with the symbol of Ma'at, which emphasizes their job in upholding the laws of justice. Canopic jars. The canopic jars are the most spiritual and religious items in ancient Egyptian mythology. They played a vital role in the process of mummification, resurrection, and judgment. The canopic jars were the containers used to keep and preserve the internal organs like intestines, lungs, the stomach, and the liver. After being removed from the body, embalmed, anointed, then wrapped in linen. There was no jar for the heart. The Egyptians believed it to be the seat of the soul. So, it was left inside the body. The ancient Egyptians believed that when a person died, they would return again to the afterlife world. They believed that they would need all internal organs after death in the afterlife. The jars were placed inside a canopic chest, then buried inside the Egyptian tombs with the sarcophagus of the deceased. Each jar has a headed lid, representing one of the sons of Horus, and each has a specific organ to keep safe. Dumutef, the jackal-headed god, guards the stomach. Hopi, the baboon-headed god, guards the lungs. Imseti, the human-headed god, guards the liver. Kebesenu-Afe, the falcon-headed god, guards the intestines.